Number 10. Anatoly Bugorsky, a Soviet scientist who accidentally put his head inside a running particle accelerator and survived. Provino, Russia. July 13th, 1978. A routine check on malfunctioning equipment inside the U-70 synchrotron. The proton beam entered the left side of his skull, passed through his brain, and exited the other side, traveling at nearly the speed of light. He described seeing a flash brighter than 1,000 suns. He felt no pain at the moment of impact. He received approximately 200,000 rads of radiation. The lethal dose for a human is around 500. He received 400 times the fatal amount. The left side of his face was permanently paralyzed. His left ear went completely deaf. He developed occasional seizures, the strangest effect. The left side of his face stopped aging entirely. The right side aged normally. Two different faces growing old at different rates. The Soviet government classified the incident. He was forbidden from discussing it for years. He completed his PhD after the incident, continued working in science, built an entire career, still alive today. One half of his face decades older than the other. The man a particle accelerator could not kill. Number 9. Roy Sullivan, a U.S. park ranger struck by lightning 7 separate times. He survived every single one. Shenandoah National Park, Virginia. 35 years of being struck by lightning. 1942, 1969, 1970, 1972, 1973, 1974, 1977. 7 strikes across 35 years. A big toe blown off. Eyebrows burned away. Hair set on fire repeatedly. Shoulder scarred. Ankle injured. Each strike left permanent damage. The statistical probability of being struck 7 times is essentially incalculable. The odds are in the trillions to 1. Guinness World Records officially named him the most lightning-struck person in history. He started carrying a bucket of water everywhere. To douse the fires, the lightning kept starting in his hair. He became afraid to be near other people, convinced the lightning would eventually hit someone close to him. He described the storms appearing to follow him, changing direction to find him. 7 times. The same man. The same impossible odds. Each time he walked away. Number 8. Vesna Vulovic, a flight attendant who fell 10 kilometers from an exploding aircraft without a parachute and survived. Over Czechoslovakia. January 26, 1972. JAT. Yugoslav Airlines Flight 367 exploded midair. The aircraft broke apart at 10,160 meters. Everyone on board fell. 27 people died. Vesna was trapped in the tail section. A food cart pinned her body in place. The section acted as a partial cocoon during the fall. The tail section struck a snow-covered mountain slope at an angle. The snow absorbed a fraction of the impact. She was found alive. Fractured skull. 3 broken vertebrae, broken ribs, broken legs. Alive. She woke up in hospital and asked for a cigarette. Doctors described her survival as medically inexplicable. Guinness World Records confirmed her fall as the highest, survived without a parachute in recorded history. After recovery, she returned to work as a flight attendant. She said she was not afraid of flying. 10 kilometers. No parachute. Alive. The most improbable survival in aviation history. Number 7. Phineas Gage. An iron rod passed completely through his skull. He survived and changed neuroscience forever. Cavendish, Vermont. September 13th, 1848. Railroad construction. Blasting rock with explosive powder. The tamping iron entered beneath his left cheekbone, passed through his brain, and exited the top of his skull, landing several meters away. He was sitting up and talking within minutes of the accident. Walked to the cart that transported him to the doctor. He survived physically, but his personality changed completely. Responsible and calm before. Impulsive, rude, and unreliable after. His case became the foundation of modern neuroscience. The first proof that specific brain regions control personality. He carried the tamping iron with him for the rest of his life. showing it to people as proof of what he had survived. His skull and the original iron rod are on display at Harvard Medical School today. He lived 12 more years after the accident, working different jobs, traveling with a permanent hole through his skull, one iron rod, one explosion, the accidental beginning of modern neuroscience. Number 6. Tsutomu Yamaguchi, the only person officially recognized as having survived both atomic bomb explosions. Hiroshima, August 6th. Nagasaki, August 9th. 1945, 3 days apart, 2 cities, one man in both. He was 3 kilometers from the Hiroshima explosion. The blast wave threw him to the ground. He suffered burns and ruptured eardrums. Still badly injured, he boarded a train and returned home to Nagasaki to recover. On August 9th, he was describing the Hiroshima explosion to his supervisor when the Nagasaki bomb detonated outside the window. The concrete building protected him from the worst of the second explosion. He survived again. He lived to 93, dying in 2010 of stomach cancer, 65 years after surviving 2 atomic bombs. Japan officially recognized his dual survival status in 2009. 1 year before he died, he spent his later years as an anti-nuclear activist, the only man who could say he had experienced both firsthand. 2 atomic bombs, 3 days apart, one man in both cities. Both times he walked away. Number 5. Alexis St. Martin, shot in the stomach at point-blank range in 1822. The wound never closed. He lived with an open hole into his stomach for 58 years. Mackinac Island, Michigan, June 6, 1822. A musket fired accidentally at point-blank range into St. Martin's stomach. The wound healed around the edges, but the opening never closed, creating a permanent window directly into his stomach. His doctor, William Beaumont, began lowering food on strings through the hole to observe digestion in real time, the first direct observation of the human digestive system. St. Martin eventually fled to Canada, tired of being a living laboratory. Beaumont spent years trying to get him back. He worked as a fur trader, raised a large family, lived a largely normal life, with a permanent opening into his stomach. He died at 86, outliving his doctor by decades. The man with the hole in his stomach lived longer than the man who studied it. The observations made through that hole founded modern gastroenterology. His stomach changed medical science. His family buried him quickly in an unmarked grave to stop doctors examining him after death. Even dead, he needed protecting from science. A hole in his stomach for 58 years, and he outlived almost everyone who ever studied it. Number 4. Beck Weathers, left for dead on Mount Everest twice in the same storm. He walked back to camp on his own. Mount Everest, May 10th, 1996. The deadliest storm in Everest history at that point. His teammates found him unconscious in the snow at 7,900 meters. They left him. He was considered dead. Hours later, a rescue team found him still alive. They concluded he was too far gone to save. They left him a second time. He woke up alone in darkness, both hands completely frozen, face destroyed by frostbite. He stood up and walked toward the lights of camp. He walked into camp. Other climbers described the sight as one of the most shocking moments of their lives. The highest altitude helicopter rescue in history was mounted to bring him down. The pilot said it was the most dangerous flight of his life. He lost both hands to frostbite. His nose was removed and rebuilt by surgeons. He wrote a memoir called Left for Dead, became a motivational speaker, built a new life without hands, left for dead twice. On the highest mountain on Earth, in the worst storm of the decade. He walked home. Number 3. Maurizio Montalbini, an Italian sociologist who lived inside a cave for 366 days with no sunlight and no contact with the outside world. Frasassi Caves, Italy, 1993. He descended alone into complete darkness. No sunlight, no outside contact, No way to tell day from night, only artificial light and his own biological clock. Without sunlight cues, his body naturally shifted to 48-hour cycles. He was living days twice as long as normal. When he emerged, he was convinced 219 days had passed. It had actually been 366. He had lost nearly 5 months of perceived time. Doctors were surprised by his relatively good physical condition after a year underground. Readjusting to normal daylight and time perception took months after emerging. His experiment significantly advanced scientific understanding of human circadian rhythms and time perception. He went back, by choice, for another extended cave experiment years later. 366 days. No sunlight, no contact, no sense of time. And he chose to do it. Number 2. Arne Larsson, the first human to receive an implanted pacemaker. He went on to outlive the surgeon who implanted it. Karolinska Hospital, Stockholm, October 8, 1958. Arne Larsson was dying, his heart stopping dozens of times per day. His heart stopped up to 30 times per day, each time requiring resuscitation. He was dying, and everyone knew it. His wife tracked down an inventor working on an experimental electrical heart stimulator. She convinced the surgeons to try it on her dying husband. The device was the size of a hockey puck, implanted directly into his chest with wires connecting to his heart. The first device failed after 3 hours. A second was immediately implanted. That one held. He received 26 different pacemakers over his lifetime. As the technology improved with each generation, he lived to 86, dying in 2001, outliving his surgeon and the inventor of the device that kept him alive. Today, 3 million people receive pacemakers every year. All of it started with one dying man and his wife, who refused to give up. One experimental device. One wife who refused to accept the answer no. 3 million lives saved every year since. Number 1. Alvin York, a farmer from Tennessee who single-handedly killed 28 German soldiers and captured 132 more with one rifle. In one morning, Argonne Forest, France. October 8, 1918. York's patrol of 17 men walked into a German position holding hundreds of soldiers. Most of his patrol were killed or pinned down in the opening seconds. York found himself essentially alone facing hundreds of Germans. He applied turkey hunting technique, shooting from the back of a group forward so the others wouldn't notice men falling. He picked them off systematically. 6 soldiers charged him with bayonets. He drew his pistol and shot all 6 before they reached him. The German major offered to surrender his entire position to one man with a rifle. York marched 132 German prisoners back to Allied lines, alone. Using them as a human shield against further attack, he received the Medal of Honor. French Marshal Foch called it the greatest feat by any soldier in all of the war. He turned down every offer of wealth and fame, went back to his farm in Tennessee, said he just did what needed doing. 10 people. 10 things that should have ended them. A particle beam through the skull. 7 lightning strikes, a 10-kilometer fall, an iron rod through the brain, 2 atomic bombs, a hole in the stomach for 58 years, Everest in a blizzard, a year without sunlight, a failing heart, 1 rifle against hundreds, none of them died.